Released in early 2017, the Samsung Galaxy S8 brought a full redesign with its gorgeous infinity display, kicking off the trend of bezel-less phones. Hey, how's it going? I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus. Are they still worth buying in 2018? The Samsung Galaxy S8 might only be a bit over a year old, but it's still massively popular, and so I think it's totally worth doing a late review. But first, if you want even more tech in your life, maybe consider following me over on Twitter and Instagram, links below. And with that, let's get started. When the S8 first came out, I thought it looked amazing, and I've held that view until this day. The infinity display is absolutely beautiful, and at the time, it was kind of the closest anybody had come to a completely bezel-less screen. The curved edges only added to the experience and gave the impression that the display never ends, hence the name Infinity Display. This truly is one of the best designed smartphones out there, and of everything Samsung's done in the past, this is easily my favorite. The design, of course, has been reused with the Galaxy S9, and for good reason. The display is fairly large even on the smaller model, at 5.8 inches with a resolution of 1440 by 2960 and pixel density of 570 pixels per inch. The screen is AMOLED and everything looks gorgeous on it. You really can't beat Samsung when it comes to displays, and if you don't believe me, take a look at some of the competing Android phones. Most screens look good, but definitely not this good. The S8 Plus has a size of 6.2 inches with the same resolution as the smaller phone, albeit with a slightly smaller pixel density. When it comes to which size you should get, it honestly just comes down to which size you prefer. Do you like a big phone or a small phone? The one I have here is the Plus model, and it is a bit big for me personally, but try both sizes out and see what you like better. And that's of course if you're getting one, which we'll get to that in a bit. One benefit of going with the plus size model is that you're going to get a bigger battery at 3,500 mAh, as opposed to the regular S8 that only has 3,000 mAh. There isn't going to be much real world difference between the two, but if you really want to squeeze everything you can out of your phone, then I'd go for the S8 Plus. There are a couple more differences between the two and I'll get to them in a bit, but first let's cover some more of the design. The Galaxy S8 has an aluminum frame with a glass back, making this a fairly fragile device. However, I would say that it's worth it, given that not only are you getting a beautiful phone, but you're also going to be able to utilize Qi wireless charging, which is a super handy feature. Maybe just get a case and you should be fine. There are many color options here in black, gray, silver, blue, and gold. We have a fingerprint sensor on the back of the phone, although it is unfortunately in the worst place possible. It's awkward and uncomfortable to use, as you may already know. There's been a lot of people who've complained about it, but I would imagine that you would get used to it. Luckily, this of course has been fixed with the Galaxy S9, which has the sensor placed underneath the camera instead of beside it. There are many other ways to unlock this phone, like iris scanning, but I really won't go into those. Realistically, the safest way to lock this phone is with your fingerprint, and so that's what I'd recommend doing, although again, there are some alternatives if you really want to use them. On the bottom of the phone, we have USB-C for charging, as well as a headphone jack, which is awesome. Gotta give mad props to Samsung for that. They have some great port selection. The rear camera is pretty solid with 12 megapixels and the ability to shoot 4K at 30 frames per second. You aren't going to get shots as nice as the Galaxy S9 or Pixel 2 or iPhone 10, but it'll still be great for almost everybody. The selfie camera is great with 8 megapixels and the ability to shoot in 1440p. Why you would ever need to film in 1440p with your selfie camera is beyond me, but basically it's really good and more than enough for anybody who uses it. And right now I'll put up some shots for you to judge for yourself. This right now is being filmed on the Samsung Galaxy S8. It looks really good. When it comes to tech specs, the Galaxy S8 is no slouch. In both models, we have the Snapdragon 835 processors. The Snapdragon 835, of course, was the best processor as of last year. It isn't anymore, but it's still pretty good and will get you through daily life without issue whatsoever. The smaller model only has 4 gigs of RAM, while the S8 Plus has 6 gigs of RAM. 4 gigs of RAM for the most part is going to be enough, but if you really like to get great performance from your phone, the S8 Plus is a better option, as 6 gigs of RAM in the future is going to be really nice. The thing about Samsungs is that they feature so many, well, features actually. Always on display, a capacitive home button, micro SD, IP68 waterproofing, wireless charging as mentioned earlier, all this and more. You know, you don't have this many features when you go to the Pixel 2 or the iPhone 10. Samsung is like the king of features, and if you want the most options with your smartphone, this is the phone to get, or the S9 or the Note 8 or whatever, you know what I mean. Samsung in general is the way to go if you like having, you know, features. That said, there is a problem I have with Samsung phones, and it's the software. Android itself is great, but Samsung's skin on Android does not really make the experience pleasant. It slows things down. You don't have that smooth experience you would have on the Pixel 2 XL or even the iPhone 10. For whatever reason, Samsung decided to throw in Bixby, and in fact they put a whole button there just for Bixby. I don't know why. It's pointless. Bixby is not very good, frankly. It's still not even close to the point of Google Assistant, and so I don't know why you would use it. But regardless of all these issues, the Samsung Galaxy S8 is one of the best phones ever, and it looks so good. I know I'm complaining a lot about the S8 software side of things, but that's just mainly due to me being mostly an iOS user. If you're used to Android, and especially used to using skins prepackaged with Android phones, then you're probably not going to really notice too many negatives. I think for the average user, you're not going to have any issues, and while I'm not huge on Samsung software, it does get the job done, and honestly could be a lot worse. So overall, we have a great phone with amazing hardware and at least half decent software. So how does it perform in daily life in 2018? Well, really well, as you would expect. I think I've basically said this before, but just to reiterate, this thing is fast enough for now, and it probably will be for at least another couple years. You will get occasional lag here and there, but looking to the future, this is a fine phone to get, and it will get you through any task you throw at it. So all this being said, it sounds actually pretty good, but how much does it cost? Well, of course, prices vary, but for starters, if you're buying off contract, you'll probably find a pretty decent deal. Well, I would never recommend contracts per se. If you're already on one and just are upgrading, or you feel comfortable with it, then I think the S8 is a good choice. If you're like me and prefer to buy used, then on eBay.com we can find prices hovering around $500. I've seen more, I've seen less. It seems like a lot, but I'm just giving some of the first prices that pop up. If you do some deep digging, I'm sure you could find a good deal. And I think when it comes down to S8 versus S8 Plus, the biggest deciding factor is which screen size you prefer. While the S8 Plus is better and more powerful, I don't think the 2 gigs of RAM is enough to make you go for the bigger size if you have small hands or just like smaller phones. At the end of the day, of course, the Galaxy S8 is still worth it in 2018. That's not a surprise to anyone. It's a beautiful phone, it does the job, and if you like Android, it doesn't really get much better than this, except for like the S9, I guess, and anything newer than the S8. But for a used phone, this is pretty good. Regardless, I think I'm pretty much done here. If this video helped you out, maybe hit that like button and consider subscribing for more content just like this. You can follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, links below. And with that all being said, thank you so much for watching. I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and I will see you all next time.